How about now? Do you have sound? So, no, hopefully you can hear me now. I had the wrong microphone picked. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, good deal. Yes, I just got back from my brother's house. So, got here. Yes, it's also on YouTube, Cindy. Should be. It says I'm streaming there. So, hopefully it's on both. Um, Thanks for asking how he's doing. It's, you know, it's not great. So, it is what it is, and we keep going. Um, yes, no, it wasn't you. It was me. I just picked the wrong microphone. I was setting up for videos, and evidently I had the wrong microphone picked. So I don't have anything extremely prepared for you all today, but I do have a site that you may find interesting, that you may want to check out because it has both fonts and artwork that you can grab. You can get a subscription. I do have an affiliate link for that one. But it's they've got quite some really nice things, especially if you do the subscription, but you can always get it one at a time. And right now they have a cyber sale. So let me share that with you. And some of the things that you all may not realize is that some of the fonts that I use come from this specific site, Creative Fabrica. It's a pretty cool little site. They have all kinds of fonts here, as you can see, lots of them with glyphs and stuff. They have a sale going on right now, as well as a sale on their subscription. With their subscription, you pretty much get everything, but there's also freebies over here. So for freebies, you could do, you can go to free graphics. You can go to free embroidery designs. These are some free graphic files that they have. When you touch it, you'll be able to see them, and you can download them for free. So there are quite a few things here, and this is a nice little site. So let's say we want to do, let's see here. Let's say we want to download Sweetie, and I haven't signed in because I've forgotten my password. So I've got a email out there trying to get it back. So we're going to download it for free, and I'm just going to log in with Facebook for today. Oh, fiddly dee, let's not do that. Let's log in with Google. That won't get me there. All right, let's pull it up on Chrome. Hold on, it'll pop right up on Chrome. Okay, here we go. Now, here we are. So let me come and grab one. Where was the one I was grabbing? Let's see what this one does. Let's go back to freebies, actually. All freebies. Like I said, I don't remember my actual account number, so my account information. So we're going to go with freebies today. And where was the one I was looking at? Sweetie. Okay, so this one is one with glyphs in it. And if we download it, the glyphs will actually show up. So I'm going to download that little guy, and then we will open it up. And you'll notice that one's an open type font and one's a true type font. And I'm going to install the true type font. And then we're going to open up our CanvasWorkspace account. And let's just type in a word here. So now when we come over and we go down to our fonts, we should see Sweetie downloaded. So if I go down to my S's, and somebody asked about glyphs, I'll show you those in just a second. I think I've shown how to use glyphs before, but I'll show you again. So Sweetie, where are you? There it is. No, that's staccato. Hold on. Fiddly dee. I hate that it goes back to the beginning. All right, so here is the little font that I just picked. Okay. Now let's look at it. That one's kind of overlapping, and I've got bold selected, so let's just go with the regular. I like that better. But if you don't want it, let's say you're cutting vinyl, and you don't want it to cut the little tips together, you have to weld that little guy. So you go to your edit properties and weld it. And you'll notice now those little guys are not there anymore. Those little lines are no longer there. That's in pretty good shape. If you don't like the spacing of it, however, up here at the top, do you see that little character spacing arrow? When you reduce that down, you'll notice that now I'm overlapping a bit more, and I like that look much better. So that is the easiest way. Now, let's say I wanted to do the glyphs. Let me type in here again. And let's go to our character map. So I'm going to open up my character map. And I've got to remember how I did this. So here's my character map, and we want not Unicode. We want to go Unicode sub-range. Okay, when you go there, you'll be able to see the different items that you can select, and you want to choose private use characters. So anything for a special version, yes, I'm on the downloaded version because you can't use TrueType fonts on the regular version. So if I go down here and now in my character map and I look for my Sweetie font, there it is. These are the special private use characters. So if I came in, and let's make this one a little bit bigger before I mess with it. And let's grab it, tap it twice, and take that Y right there out. Let me bring back my character map, and let's find a pretty Y for the end, if I can figure out which one it is. That is the challenge of this X, Y. Here we go. Here's my Y. We're going to select it, and we're going to copy it. And then we'll come over here and right mouse click and paste it. And there's my glyph, okay? So now you can weld all of that together, and you've got your nice little glyph. But so you want me to go back over and do that again for you? So if we come back to our character map, down here, you want to choose Unicode subrange. It will bring up this group by message, and you want to go down to private use characters. Once you do that, your glyphs will show up. So let's undo this again and undo. All right, so now I'm going to come and tap it twice, and I'm going to get rid of my C. Now let's get back over to our character map, and let's find the capital C for the beginning of the word. Let me see. ABC. Oh, I don't want to copy both of them. We just want to copy one. Let's copy it and see if we like it. So now that one I don't like. That's a lowercase. Let's see if they have a different one for an uppercase one. It looks like these are more for the end of words. So yeah, I for this particular font, I don't like the C because it's a lowercase. And it would be on the end. So maybe let's see if we like that one instead. Paste. I know I liked my original version of it. So, but that's how you get to those sub characters. So character map on your computer, Shirley, you come down to your search bar at the bottom of your screen, and then you type in CHAR and top character map, and it pops right up. So there it is. Now I've got two character maps open. Let me open the other one. And then you just hunt for the font that you're planning on using. So, I mean, I've got quite a few different fonts here, but depending on what you're planning on doing will depend on whether they have the private use characters. So this one, that particular one does not. Depends on the font itself. If you see in here, maybe later. If you see here that it has these little swirly things, you know that it has special use characters. And that's how you know. Okay. They also have, when you go to their freebies, they have free embroidery designs. They have classes so you've got quite a bit of stuff here that's free and tons of stuff for you to be able to use. It's quite a nice little site, I'll have to say. They have tons of fonts. They have tons of dingbats. So if you go to Dingbats, if you don't know what a dingbat is, these are kind of fun too. So each font has a different, if we look at this one, for instance, these are basically text items that you, depending on what key it uses, will give you the little dingbats. So yes, you can use them in P Design 11 as well. You know, we do not have any single line fonts for drawing, and that is unfortunate. The only ones that we have, actually, we do have a few if you have this kit. So, hold on, guys. I'm signed into the wrong CanvasWorkspace account. Let me log out and let me open mine. I've been doing videos, and one of those videos is showing people how to do Artspira, and so I created a different ID. So let me go in here and see. Yeah, of course. Come on. There we go. So if you have the embossing and engraving kit, you do have some single line characters. And if we come down here, I believe it is, line drawings. Nope, that's not it. That's final auto blade, piercing, roll feeder, foiling, region emboss, region engrave. I thought it was there. No, we do not have any single line fonts. Unfortunately, you'd have to trace over them yourself. This is the closest thing we have, and that would be the rhinestone kit, and that would not work for you. So we do not have any line drawing fonts that are built in. Okay. Now, yes, you can use them in P Design 11. Now let's look and see if we can use the glyphs, though. That's the question. I'm opening it up. And let's come into our text tool. And I'll do the same thing that I just did. We'll type in my name and select it. And then let's go to my Sweetie font. You can tell I'm kind of getting into fonts because I've got tons of them on here. Here's Sweetie script. All right, so now let's go back to our character map, and let me see here. Not wrong one. Actually, it is the right one. It's the only one I've got open right now. Sweetie. And Unicode, we want to go group by Unicode subrange, pick personal use, private use characters, and now let me see if the Y will work. Let's select it and copy it. Now I'm going to come over to my text attributes, the end, backspace, and copy or Control V for paste. Now, it did not like that, so that one would not work. Okay, so it does not like the glyph there. It did not like that one. So no, you can't use the glyphs there. But what you could do is you could always save the one in CanvasWorkspace out. Let's come back and grab it. Oops, too far. So you could always do this. Let me see here. Let's reduce my spacing and let me paste that glyph. I don't want it bold. I want it regular. And let's see here. Weld it. And then you can do File Export. So it's going to export that FCM file, and I'll just save it here. That's fine. And let's come back over here. So then go to your Scan and Cut tab, Import, and let's find my little sweetie. I think I did sweaty. There it is. And let's zoom out a little bit. So you could definitely convert it to embroidery from right here. And you can change and turn on a fill stitch. Change it to a satin. Ooh, it doesn't like that. Oh, you know why? Looky here. So we need to set some holes. So let's ungroup. So this has taken us a whole new direction that I hadn't planned on going, but this is always a good thing. So why did it do that to me? Because when I selected it, I needed to have holes put in, and it doesn't know that until I tell it that. So it's not got a hole in there yet. Let's go ahead and do that one as well while we're at it. And then let's come and fill our parts in that are cut out. So anytime you see cutouts like this, you need to turn those fill stitches on. Now we can come in and we can grab and set hole sewing. So I'm going to grab those two, modify, overlap, set hole sewing. Oops, doesn't like me. Why don't you like me? Let's do this, and select it. Modify, overlap, set hole sewing. Oh, okay. So can anybody tell me what might be happening here? I can tell you, but can you tell me? If I come in and I grab my select point tool, I probably have something that is overlapping somewhere. I'm going to change my shape, my outline to a zigzag stitch so I kind of see. Actually, that one doesn't look bad. It looks like all of my nodes are fine. So that shouldn't be it. Let's see about right here. Aha. That's a problem. That's a problem. Now, where was the other part? Right here. Those should be okay. That's a problem. All right, so let's try this again. So I'm going to go with that and that. Select it, modify, overlap, set hole sewing. Why are you not liking me, you little snot? Well, evidently I've got something crisscrossing somewhere that I need to check every little node. So let's look at the outside since we've done the insides. That's only one node. Let's see what else we've got going on. Ooh, hello. That looks fine. So basically, I'm looking wherever I might have two nodes sitting on top of each other that have any possibility of crisscrossing. And once you find that one special node, which is going to be right around here, it looks like. That will tell us what we've got wrong. There's a lot happening right there. And it certainly doesn't need that many nodes to make it. Now let's see what we've got. The rest of it looks pretty good. We'll see. Maybe right there. Let's try it again. One more time. If this doesn't work, we'll give up on this one. Invalid pair selected. You little turkey. I know you'll fit. All right, so let's do this. Don't y'all love it when I get into too deep in the woods and things go wonkers? Let's do a mitered corner, and that usually will show us. So let's back out. Aha, there it is. See that mess right there? We've got something crisscrossing. And once we can get rid of that, we might be able to do this. We got something crisscrossing right there as well. Anytime you see a big something stepping outside of its zone, you have something going on. So now let's try it one last time. There we go. So did you notice what I did? So if not, I'm going to show you what I did. So let's go ahead and turn off this fill stitch so you can see. That is now not going to sew. And the reason it wasn't working before, if I undo back to where you can see my little crisscrosses, so you see how I've got a tip here and a tip here? That was the issue. And you really don't get to see that unless you turn on your zigzag outline and you change that sharp corners to the sharp corner point. That will let you know, and then you can come look at those specific areas and delete whatever that is. And that's exactly what was the problem. So now let's set that back. Now you can see those sharp edges are no longer there. So now when we come and grab these two, modify, overlap, set whole sewing, the whole sewing set, and you can simply turn off that fill stitch. I'm going to turn this back to a zigzag stitch, or a running stitch, I mean. Now let's see what else we can do. We don't need that dot because there's nothing there, but we do need this part. So let's select this, go home, modify, overlap, set whole sewing. All right, so now we can turn off that fill stitch. We've got two little tidbits here. Home, modify, overlap, set whole sewing. And I'll turn off everything at the end now. Oh, undo. Wanted to select, not set whole sewing. Whoops. Okay, and we got two more pieces. Select them, modify, overlap, set whole sewing. And one more. And once I'm done with this, I'm going to come back and answer questions. So now let's come and turn off the fill stitch for all of these pieces. And we can change that outline stitch back to a running stitch. So there you go. Now, if you want those stitches to follow the curve, change it to auto and it will follow the curve. Now, you may not like that. So you may say, well, you know what? I think I want manual straight line. All right, that's fine as well. If you do manual straight line, I would do a fill stitch or a programmable fill or something along those lines to make it look better. Okay. Now, let me come back and answer some questions. Sorry. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yes, the quilt design, Marie. It's Advanced Quilt Design Software, and I've done a few shows on it, as well as we've done some on Brother Sews. Actually, we did a whole quilt block challenge on that. There was a bunch of us took the same quilt block and did different things with it. So there are quite a few different variations of the same quilt block, but I can show you Advanced Quilt Design Software here in just a minute. Let me see if there's any other questions on what I'm going to do. So you get stuck at the glyphs. So the glyphs don't tend to work with P design, and the reason being is because it does not read those open type fonts, and that open type font is a glyph. Even though we installed it as the true type font version, it doesn't tend to work. Having said that, I do believe BES4 and BES Blue may do it. So we'll check out that again in a second. Oh, I'm so glad I'm not where you are. I am not sorry to not be in the snow. I went from Houston, which was 80 degrees, to Michigan, which turned really, really cold when I got there. So it was snowing when I left. And then I turned around and went to Knoxville, the Knoxville area, and it was kind of crazy. About creating an offset versus a seam allowance, and why one can't always find create offset. I'm assuming you're talking about on the scan and cut itself. An offset will give you a perfect space around it. However, if it has an item inside it and it's grouped, sometimes it will not do that for you. So that may be why yours is not allowing you, or you have multiple items selected in the scan and cut. A seam allowance puts a specific seam allowance around things and allows you to both draw and cut, because the drawing portion is the seam allowance, and then it's where you would stitch, and then the cut, the black part, is the cut line. So you can do it either way, whichever one works best for you. But you can actually do smaller amounts of offsets than you can do seam allowances. And Shirley, I always work on the desktop version, the downloadable version. If you ever see me doing a live, I am generally on my download version, because I tend to work on it more than the online, because I'm not always online. It's slower for me to do a presentation with you if I'm trying to use that stream plus stream to you. So I tend to do this one. It's also got more tools to it. There are specific things that I will go to the online version for. If I were planning on creating a sticker, I would use that, because that's where the sticker kit is. If I needed to download a pattern collection, I would do that on the online version, because that's where that is. If I were planning on setting something to both draw and cut, and I didn't want to have a copy and paste situation, I can do that on the web version versus the download. You have to choose cut or draw. You can't assign the same thing to one item. So you can't do cut and draw on the desktop version. You have to copy and paste, have one of them set to draw, have one of them set to cut. Now, when do I use that? When I'm cutting heat transfer vinyls, because some of them are very hard for me to see where to weed. And if I've got something real intricate, if I can cut it first and then draw it in the same space, then it gives me an actual line to look over. Having said that, if I didn't want to do that, I could always dust a little talcum powder over the top of it and see where the lines are. So there are different ways that you can do the same things, but truly getting my collections downloaded and using the sticker kit are the only two reasons I go to the web version. Because web version, you can't use your TrueType fonts. You have to use the ones that are built in, or you have to use the TrueType font converter. Well, if I'm going to use the TrueType font converter, then I may as well be on my desktop version, because I can use it like text then. It's not me just I can arc it. I can do things. I can put it to a shape. There's multiple things that I can do on the desktop version that I can't do on the web version. And there is, what else was I going to say? So, and if you're doing roll feeder designs, it has to be done on the desktop version. If you're doing paper piercing, I believe that's a desktop version. So most of the advanced features, including tiling for vinyl, are found on the desktop version. And that's what they seem to be investing in it. Yeah, I like how it looped into the D as well. And I do I find it easier to fix it in P Design, where I can do that satin stitch outline to where I can see where the mess is. So, Deborah, I'm not sure. Let's see. I don't think it will let me add my stitch angles, because there are so many of them. I can't do manual curve. So I can either do auto or manual straight with a satin stitch for this particular item. And I think it's because we have this little area right here going on. So you're better off just picking a different fill. Okay. Um, you got sidetracked. Well, I'm glad you're doing better now, Cindy. Good job. In Canvas offset. Okay, well, hold on a second. Canvas, you can't do a seam allowance. You have to do an offset. So let's see if I come and pick this and try to do an offset. Oh, okay. Here's the deal. Read that little thing right there. If it's intersecting, which means this right here, you cannot create an offset. That is why. Okay. Oh, it helps if I show you the screen, doesn't it? So when I came in here and I went into offset and I said I wanted to go 5 millimeters, we're going to leave it as is and say, okay. It says the selected objects include self-intersecting paths. What does that mean? That means I've got items that crisscross. So see how this intersects? And that means I cannot do it. That's the definition of where it won't work. Now, what I could do is take this and where is that? Let's divide it up. So now if I divide it, let's see what happens and grab the let's see, offset, see if it'll still do it. Nope. Intersecting paths. So it could be the same thing that we were having a minute ago if we double tap. And we look at all this stuff going on down here, and let's take off the control points so we can see where we've got things that are intersecting. So come in and grab your points, highlight them, delete them out. Anything that crisscrosses, we can try this. I'm not sure if it will work or not, but here's an intersecting path right there. Whenever you have things sitting on top of each other, that's going to be a challenge for both P Design and your Canvas workspace. So removing some nodes tends to help life out. Where were the other ones? Oh, there's one right there. What else do we have? We know we had some over on this other side. So it's basically telling you to go look where you've got nodes sitting over the top of each other. We definitely don't need those. I don't see any others there. Now let's see. It's worth a shot. This may need some more. Ooh, wait a minute. Thought I saw something here. Oh, yeah, right there. Let's try it. So now, offset. There you go. So anytime I am in CanvasWorkspace right now, anytime that it will not that it gives you that intersecting path, it's the same reason I couldn't set whole sewing for it in P Design 11. The dots I just I selected them and pressed delete on my keyboard, Cindy. So anytime that you can't get the offset to work, it's because something is intersecting in that area. And that's when, if you've got nodes sitting on top of each other, that means something is crisscrossing. If you can just get rid of some extra nodes, usually it will take it out. And Anne, I was using CanvasWorkspace for that one. I used P Design in the other one. So let's look one last time. Let's see if the glyphs will work in BES4 while we're thinking about it. I think they will, if I can get it to open up. There we go. Yeah, the light box is nice. It just doesn't do very well with glitter vinyl. All right, BES is now up. Let's see here. So create new design. Y'all know that my computer loves this connecting to the web. So let's do it again, Cindy. Now for this one, we're going to choose True Type fonts. So we're going to put a check mark in front. I am in BES4 right now. I'm going to put a check mark in front of TTF, and we're going to come down here and hunt for Sweetie. Here it is. Apply. All right, so it doesn't like that Y. We're going to come in, and I should still have that one. Nope, I don't. So let me come and grab my item again, and let's copy it and paste it. Huh. It does not like that, but it did it. So you can see that it did it. There we go. Now we can come in and grab our text tool and grab those together. You can change your whole spacing for everything, or you can do it one letter at a time like I'm doing. So it tells me I've got some stitch that's too long, and we'll look at that in just a second and see what it is. I'm pretty sure it has to do with the loop-de-loop on there on the end. So let's look at it in 3D and see right there, that Y it does not like. So it's telling me that those stitches are going in an awkward angle. So I could change that to a pattern fill instead. And I would be much better off because then it can do it. The little triangles, when you've got your text tool on, it allows you to smush things together. Or as one of my kids used to say at school, scooch together. Okay. So let's see here. These are True Type fonts, and that BES Blue should be able to use that as well. Hold on a second, and we'll try it. BES Blue has mostly the same fonts. There are a few that are only BES4, but not. I think it's like Text Me and one or two others that are different. So let's see here. If we do the same thing over here, because that is a font that I just downloaded, if you remember. So we're going to come and go True Type font, and we're going to come down here and do Sweetie again. Where is it? And I'm going to paste that glyph in. And there you go. So we could, let's change our spacing to a -2 and see what happens. That's good except for the glyph. So then we can just move it over. And there you go. Now, I did not get the error message this time, but let's look at this and see if we like how it looks. I'm not crazy about that part right there. So let's see what happens if we change it to something else. So not every font is going to be created equally, just so you know that. I mean, it is a True Type font, which means it's meant for printing and cutting and those type things. It's not necessarily meant for embroidery. So just because you have it doesn't mean it's going to be the best, do the best job. Okay. Let's look at BES4 and see. BES4 may have handled it a bit better, which is odd because they usually handle them about the same. Maybe I made it bigger in BES4. I don't think so, but I might have. Oops, wrong one. That looks better. So yeah, I must have had it just slightly bigger. Okay. Now, you can do the glyph. Like I said, the glyphs will work in BES4. They do a much better job there than they do in P Design 11. P Design 11, your workaround is to take it in as a FCM file, and you could do FCM as well. I'm sorry you lost me there. Oh yeah, I have to go. You're correct. I do. Today was supposed to be a quickie, and we are always at we're already at 41 minutes. All right, so let me open Advanced Quilt Design Software real quickly so you can see what that is, and that will answer my last question. That was up there. Give it just a second to pop up. But truly, let me pop up. I'll put in a link for you all for, if you wouldn't mind, if you decide to do stuff off of Creative Fabrica, it would help me out. It is an affiliate link for me. I'll put it in the comments once I figure out how to log into my account, because I want to give you the correct one. So there are tons of built-in blocks in Advanced Quilt Design Software, and you can come in and you can simply put a couple of them in here, and you can say Quilt Variation Player, and it gives you different variations of those two blocks placed together. So you can sit and have fun with it and see what happens. When you get down to the bottom where it's random, as you hit the play button, it will give you different settings of it. And if you find one that you like, press the stop button and say, okay, there you go. It's giving you a quilt layout for you to play with, for you to do. If you want to make your own, you can go to the block tool and do new block. You can bring a block in and edit it, or you can create your own. So if I wanted to create my own, and let's say I wanted to do, oops, hold on. I'm going to grab these guys right here, and I'm going to unite them, and that's part of my block. But if I want to have triangular things, I do triangular. So it automatically resets it. So you do need to decide what you're planning on doing before you start it. So let's say I wanted to do half square triangles here. I can highlight all those, unite them, come down here and do the same thing around these. See how it's turned that blue? Unite. If you don't like doing it that way, you can always piece select and hold your control key down. Oops, I don't want to grab the triangle with it. Piece select and just left click with your control key held down. And unite that. So I'm basically making pieces here. I have no idea what this is going to come up like. We're just going to go with it. Oh, fiddle-dee-day. Let me lasso it. I'm a lasso tool girl. And you can continue designing. So if you miss things, like I miss these corner pieces here, I can come and grab them with my control key. And then you can color it in. So you pick a piece and you just color it in. You can also add your fabrics in. It allows you to create your own blocks, add your fabric library in. It allows you to do all kinds of stuff. It also has a picture quilt. Oh, thank you. Sandra popped in and said it's the quilt to fashion. There it is. And I know that there are quite a few more Facebook Live ones that I've done with it. The Education Connection group has been working on what episode talks about what. So they may have gotten that far into that. I have not had a chance to check it. Between the travels and my brother, I have not had a chance to do it, but there are quite a few things that you can do with this. There's also a picture quilt item here. So if you wanted to, let's see here if I have a picture on my computer that we might be able to use. Let's say I wanted to turn this into a picture quilt. When I touch next, I tell it what size piece I want. So if I wanted them to be 1-inch pieces now, or let's go with 1.5, because these are going to be teeny, 1.5. The best thing I can tell you about this is to use blocks and make your block sizes manageable. So if I do like a 10 by 10 block, oh, evidently I didn't do 10 there, 10. Why is that not letting me do that? I don't want 100, I don't want 1.49. Let's do 1-inch pieces. There we go. So now I've got that into a 10 by 10, and we'll touch finished. And this is how it is pixelated my quilt. So you can increase or decrease your number of colors. The more you increase, the more you're going to have to piece, but you'll notice that the detail comes more to life the more colors that you have in there. Once you've finished it, it's kind of cool. There's your pixelated quilt, but when you go up to the application button and say print, when you do print setup, actually I want to do print preview. Print preview. So it will give you the overall quilt. When I go to the next page, I've got a lot of pieces in this particular quilt. Well, boy, that would be pretty. When I go to the next page, it tells me how many pieces, how many blocks are in it, everything around it. When I go next page, it tells you what color you've got, how many you need of that particular color, and what size those pieces are. Then, let me go next page. Those are actual size. It tells you how much fabric you're going to need for it and how to cut those fabric strips. And, oh, I'm going previous page instead of next page. Then, once you've gone through all of that, it tells you how to put your block together. So with the different colors, you definitely need to pay attention to the numbers. It tells you how to put it together. And that's why I tell you to use the block view, because if you don't use blocks, you will have it will be impossible to see it to put it together. Okay. And that, I mean, that's really basically it. You can bring in a block that's, let's do new block here again and grab one of these. Let's say I want to edit this to where I have a center piece right here that's all one square. I can unite that. I can unite these two pieces. I can unite these two pieces, and I can change that color to something else to where I could have a specific item in the middle. If you would, a highlight piece. You can add your fabrics in. So if you touch your color palette and choose fabrics, you can pick the different fabrics, and you can bring your own fabrics in. So let's say I wanted that to be in my middle piece of fabric. I can do that. It also integrates with your scan and cut tool. So if I say export project here, I can have it save my cut files, as well as the quilt block file. You tell it what size mat you're planning on going on, and it will export the entire thing to be able to cut out with your scan and cut. And the seam allowances will be added in. You do need to specify your seam allowance the first time and tell it where you're planning on going with it before you name it. If you don't tell it where you're planning on going with it, then it's going to wipe all of your changes out. So it'll wipe out your name. So go ahead and tell it where you're going to go, name it, and tell it your seam allowance. After the first time, your seam allowance will hold. Spacing, I usually put mine at 0.2 because that's enough spacing between the items to be able to not have shredded fabric down on my mat. It gives me a nice clean line from which to pull up, and I don't have shredded fabric all over the where I don't have to clean up my mat quite as frequently. But then you can take that FCM file over to your scan and cut machine and cut all your pieces out if you want to. All right, guys, you all have fun and play. I will post a link to Creative Fabrica, my affiliate link to that later. Oh, one last thing. Somebody asked me to post a coupon code for BES4, so I do have one here. Where is it? Here you go. It is now active, and I have it active through the 20th of the month. After that, I don't know that it will be able to be shipped to you until after Christmas. So I will be, because I'll be in and out at my brother's for the next month. And my dad's coming in on the 21st, so I will be there that day. It's also a big day as far as CAT scan results. So MRI, I guess I should say, results. So we'll know what's happening that day to see if anything has changed. All right, guys, thanks for joining me today. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate you hanging in there and understanding that I couldn't be here last week or the week before. Next week is not going to happen either. I will be back in Loudon. So I appreciate the prayers, and just keep us in your thoughts. You just can't help. It is what it is, and we're making the best of a bad situation. So you guys have a great rest of your week. Have a Merry Christmas if I don't see you live before then. I should see you live. I'll be doing Sewing Machines Plus Countdown to Christmas, I believe, and that's the 12th of December. I'll be doing persona segments on that day. So I'll be doing the cap frame and the free motion quilting kit and the split hoop as well. So I have 2 segments that Monday, and that's what those will be. So you all have a great rest of your week. Hope everybody had a very good Thanksgiving. I was very thankful to be able to spend mine with my brother, and thankful that we were all that the food was good. I cooked decently, so I was glad that everything was good. So y'all have a good rest of your week, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.